I feel like Mike Jordan. Give me the rock and I'm scoring. Hey, came from the bottom, that's foreign. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. Yeah, they know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the game. I told them this ain't a game.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Big Leagues Chicago. Happy 2023, everybody. John, Jose, showing up here with me on Big League Chicago. Guys, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's.
What's going on? Happy New Year's, everybody.
What's up, man? Happy New Year's, guys. Happy to start the year off doing a show with you guys.
Yes.
I know work had me missing a good amount, at the end last year, but I'm happy I was able to kick the year off right with my boys.
That's right. John is back. We got a great show for you guys today. I mean, the moods I feel like are a little bit low. I mean, we got Bears breakdown after a couple losses. There was no show last week, so we got to cover a little bit of the Bills loss as well as the Lions. And then we got the Sea Red segment. The Bulls not doing too bad, but still kind of like teetering there. And then we're gonna end off with 4 stars of the week. John, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
I would say the Bulls are being typical Bulls, man. They do this every year, man. It's a toxic relationship. I think the Bulls is the most toxic relationship of all Chicago sports right now.
Oof.
That's
tough. That's tough.
Man.
But you might be right.
You might, yeah.
Hey, we'll debate it later. You want?
Right.
Well, let's start off with the first toxic relationship we've got. Bears breakdown. Let's start off with the Bears. They kind of started off 2023 off not so hot at all, like as bad as you could probably start off 2023 if you're the Bears or any NFL team, really. They started off with a loss to the Lions, 41-10 was the loss. Or sorry, 41-10 lost the Lions.
Yeah, we got a 30-piece.
Yeah, dude, that was rough to watch, man. And the first quarter wasn't bad. The Bears were actually up, leaving the first quarter 10-7. There was a Cole Kmet touchdown from Fields. Fields was rushing the ball. He's running the ball. It looked good. Was there? I mean, other than that, there really wasn't much the 3 quarters after that to kind of look at and try to pick out any sort of positives. We got Eric joining us. What up, Eric?
Hi, friends. I was having some technical difficulties with my soundboard over here. Apparently, it didn't recognize to my computer. So,
computer.
Yeah.
No worries, man.
So what's up, guys?
Glad we have y'all. But yeah, we were talking about the Bears. We just start off with the Bears. They lost 41-10. What do you guys make of this, Mr. Tony Football? I want to hear your opinions first on this Bears loss.
That's Tony Toxico, as they know. The toxic thing about him is he thinks he's Tony Football. That's one of the many toxic features of Jose.
Yeah, for real. I mean, Rick, New Year.
And there you go.
Started off different, man.
His name's Jose.
He's not Tony Football, bro. Come on.
And then he's calling himself Tony everything, but my man's name's Jose. See, the toxicity is real.
It's Jose, Tony Contreras. For those who know me, they all call me Tony. Family calls me Tony. John, you know this, John. Don't act surprised.
See, but me and Eric family, we don't call you Tony.
Wow.
And then to be fair, your girl Paulina, I never heard her refer to you as Tony. So
I've only behind closed door, my
friend.
That one I've heard her a time or two call her
Tony toxic.
Yeah.
Tony toxic.
Right.
Hey, you know what? When she's going off on him, that's when the whole name comes out.
There she goes.
Lies. She said
lies. All right, guys. All right. So back to Tony Football's analysis, right, on the Chicago Bears and what I thought about what happened this weekend. Rick, as I mentioned before, it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see the Bears continue. Look, after this loss against the Detroit Lions, we are guaranteed a top 4 pick in this 2023 draft coming up. At least a top 4 pick. We need to secure a loss again this week, and we might secure that number 2. Okay. I look that to me that's everything I want to hear. I'm happy just for that reason alone. I don't need the Bears to win. I've said it many times in this show. I do not need them to win. I just need them to develop. Justin Fields is continuing to play. I'm 100% happy with that. I am a little bit concerned though that he was still playing when we were down 25 in the fourth quarter. It's like what's the point in that situation? What's the point? Like, why would you allow him to go out there when you have almost your whole entire O-line has been riddled with injuries. You're having backups out there who can defend to save their lives. Justin Fields is now the most sacked quarterback in Chicago Bears history, just past Jay Cutler. What is he doing out there in the fourth quarter when we're down so many points? It makes no sense to me. That's the only thing that concerns me. But everything else I'm happy with. I really am.
Yeah, and you said he's the most sacked quarterback now. I remember when Jay Cutler did get that record. I don't know do you guys remember that game against the Giants when he got sacked like 9 times? Like I think it was like a decade or so ago. It was ridiculous. The fact that Fields has surpassed that is just insane. And I mean the line that they put in front of him obviously has not been great. Tevin Jenkins in this game got injured. He re-injured, I guess, his neck injury from the week prior. So he was out early. You saw Riley Reif go in there, and then he got hurt later. And the Bears offensive line all day struggled with the Detroit Lions pass rush. John, what were your like initial thoughts, I guess, on the game after everything happened?
You know what, bro? The most exciting part of the game was just watching Fields run. Because after the first quarter, it looked like, holy shit, he might just break the record today, passing Lamar Jackson's rushing record. But then it got kind of sad and very frustrating because it's like, is this all we're gonna do? We're just gonna run the ball with Fields, It got really frustrating to watch, really hard to watch. I definitely I'm at the point with the Bears. I've been there, but just haven't been on where I bet against them to not cover. And I'm almost, after watching the game, I was almost ashamed of myself for being worried that the Lions couldn't cover 5. Just based on how the Bears are playing, what the game plan was. It's like, once again, bro, like the first drive was good with Kmet, but then it's like, we really have no receivers. It's like, okay, yeah, we get it. Fields could run. We've been crying, for this to cater to the quarterback's running game, in your game plan since we had Mitch, but now it's like, it looked like it was our only plan yesterday, and then our O-line is just, you guys just said it. The sacks record, and it's like, bro, and then there's another game which he's probably gonna get sacked at least 4 times, in my opinion. Against the Vikings, I think you can put down Justin Fields sacked 4 times.
2 records. 2 records he's gonna break. 2 records he's gonna extend. He's gonna extend that sack record, and then he's gonna rush over Lamar Jackson.
It's frustrating. But Jose, I get why you're like content with losing because you get a higher pick. I'm just more frustrated because like back in the day, I shouldn't even go back to like last year. Bears fans would be going completely nuts, screaming for people to be fired if we lost 9 straight games. If we get blown out by 30, the quarterback's getting sacked to us. So it's like just because we finally have the front office committing to a quarterback and we know he has no weapons, we're okay with losing this bad. We're okay
that's
with
why.
losing 9 straight games.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
But the thing, but the thing is though is last year us realistic Bears fans knew like we're not elite no more. We're not gonna make no noise in the playoffs. So it's like, why is this year any different? Where it's like, nobody's screaming to fire nobody. If I'm me as a fan, cool. Give me that high draft pick, but based on how we're playing, I'm not even confident that we're gonna even be better next year. I don't even want those guys coaching a better team, a better roster. So I'm at the point that okay, we're want to rebuild, cool. But clean house because this is ugly. We shouldn't be losing that bad to the Lions. The Lions are mid at best, bro.
Just
the Bears just look like complete dog shit.
Just to rebuttal, real quickly, just to rebuttal, because we've been together for a year almost, right? But like John, Eric, and I, we've had a show before, and last year, John, I was the one on here even looking for losses because I realistically knew the Bears weren't going anywhere. Right? When the years they made the playoffs with Mitch Trubisky, I was the one realistically rooting for losses because I knew they weren't going anywhere that year. It's not like I'm being any different here. I know exactly what this team needs, and it's not what we have on the field going right now at this present time. Which is why I'm rooting for losses, because the only way we're going to get better is by getting assets, and that's
But
going
the
to
crazy
be
thing is,
the draft.
we were just
through
debating
free
this
agency.
we want the higher pick to trade it.
Or okay, but that's fine. Whether it's to trade it or to grab somebody elite at that level, regardless of the fact,
But
both
with this coaching
scenarios.
staff, I don't trust nobody elite. Our quarterback, you could say, is damn near gonna be elite.
But the thing is, both those scenarios help improve this team. And if there's one thing I've learned this year that I can say I'm confident next year, is that this coaching staff is the right coaching staff. Because regardless of the fact, even though we lost 9 straight games, like as you mentioned, this team looks disciplined. Justin Fields looks like he's progressing, and that is what you want to get. Come on.
Okay, when you say discipline,
Eric.
I
agree. I agree to that certain extent. The only reason why they're like this is because of the lack of talent that's not progressive.
No. I'm saying when you talk about discipline, I'm talking about like, less flags. We got some stupid ass penalties being called on us. Like, late in the game, how are you getting false starts when you're down for 30?
But there's also been a lot of flags that haven't went our way either.
I'm just saying when you say discipline, that's what come to mind for me. You know,
and I think that also kind of the lack of leadership, the lack of veteran leadership, especially like contributes to that a lot. But Eric, you're going over there going like, I don't know what you got on this Bears team right now.
Listen, my boy don't know, but he's always decked out in Bears gear. You could whether you kind of Eric with a beanie and a hoodie, always.
I almost wore a beanie, and I was like, I don't want to overshadow Eric. So,
but
nobody could overshadow me, buddy.
You all know this. I have the
swaggest of all the swag amongst all 5 of you in here. Anywho,
Eric, what you got?
All right. So
Dick's Sporting Goods. John, come on now.
John, I think he's just going over the limit for what he said about we need to fire this whole coaching staff. We got to remember, this is year 1 of this regime, of the Poles and Matt Eberflus. All right. Last year we would understand if this year was last year, then hell yeah, like heads would roll. Hell, Nagy would have been fired, this and that. Pace would have probably been gone, so on and so forth. Like there's a different story to why. I mean, this year it's kind of like I guess you can say a pass. I don't want to say that, but I guess you can make it a pass simply because it's everybody's first year. Eberflus' first time being a head coach. Ryan Poles being the first time as a GM. And I think if we have this same performance this year, next year, then the questions will start building where everybody will probably be on John's level. But to say this year, like people should be fired, no, I don't think so. I think that's way too early. I think it's like a year or 2 years too early for that. As to say that Justin Fields will be elite, it's yet to be determined. I mean, he probably ascended to where he's probably like bottom level, depending, especially from last year, what we had with Matt Nagy and the crap show that we had, to now with a coach who's like you said, Jose, which is right, disciplined, but to a max. I mean, he's the true leader in the squad, and you saw it with the Claypool blow up yesterday, how he came up, how he started talking. But he ascended from bottom tier to like top tier number 3 at the best, tier 4 for sure, in the rankings of all quarterbacks and throughout the whole entire NFL. The kid just needs help, man. I mean, he just needs help, and I honestly feel like he just doesn't trust anybody else because he's just worried about he's going to get hit every single time, and if he doesn't run, he's going to get hit. And that's what happened yesterday. The moment that he started on the table, stretching, all that game just changed completely on what the Bears trying to do, and none of the receivers nor the tight end helped them out at that end. So,
and you saw there was like I don't know who it was exactly, Pettis, Claypool, Equanimous. A lot of these guys, again, what's been happening this entire season, ball hits the palm of their hands and then falls to the ground. We saw that a lot throughout this entire thing. And
Rick, to piggyback off of that, what's sad is that it's like, okay, 50% of the times that happens, the other 50%, they don't know how to get to separation. They can't get open. Exactly. And it's very frustrating. Like literally watching Fields scan, look around, debate what he should run or not. That it's to the point where it's frustrating to watch it. It's like you already know, like, fuck, he's gonna run.
That's talent, though. That's more talent than it is coaching. Because when I view this coaching staff, the only reason why I feel like this coaching staff is good is because you look at a lot of these games, even against tougher opponents, they're in that game. Those are winnable games. And if we had Nagy calling plays, we'll be blown out every single week. But we've at least been in every single game, other than this last one, right? But we've been in these games, and in the Bills, of course. But the majority of the season, we could have won these games.
I feel like majority of the season we've been in half the games. No, I'm sorry, like half of the amount of the game. For the games that we've been in.
Honestly, ever since that Thursday night football game against the Commanders, I felt like every game from there up until last week against the Bills, the Bears could have come back, could have had a chance.
Eric, when was it that we saw the Packers game at your crib? Like they looked good first half, and the second half.
I think that was the first time they played, though.
I think that was the first time that
I think it was the second time.
Week 2. That was week 2.
That was week 2. With me, you, and Duff. Yeah, that was week 2.
It was week 2. But no, I just feel like personally watching the game, it's like we're in it half the time of every game. We're either in it the first half or we're in it the second half. It's never a full game. We're in it.
It's more than half.
Never a full game.
I think the Bears play you tough all 4 quarters but die out somewhere in the fourth quarter.
They die out
in most of these games. And you're right. They've been even the one blowout game against Dallas. They were still in that one, and that was the next closest blowout until last week, or yesterday, should I say? They fought through every single game from there on out. It just, let's just put it like this. Yesterday, the Bears game to me was background noise. Yesterday, I missed the World Cup. Let's just put it. Yesterday, I was watching Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous on my phone while I was hearing the Bears in the background, simply because they couldn't do nothing in the third quarter. 3 and out.
Yeah.
And I think there was a fumble or interception or something like that along the way. And the way that they ended the half to me was kind of already a buzzkill too as well. Like you could tell they half-assed that whole last sequence. And it just turned me off to like, all right, man, like if I'm going to get that type of play in the second half, I'd rather not just watch it. That's when I turned on Netflix on my phone and watched Jurassic Park, bro. And it was just, and I paid attention. I saw that long run from Swift, and then I lost my interest after that because yesterday was just embarrassing. Yesterday, the hits principle that Matt Eberflus normally puts in for his squad, in the beginning of the year, didn't show up yesterday at all.
No, it was non-existent, and we talked about like the talent, right? I think there was at one point
the
where
lack of talent.
the lack of talent. Yeah, there was at one point Fields had like 8 to 10 seconds to throw, and threw it out of bounds because nobody was open. No one. Right. And one guy that I forget if it was either Jose or John that mentioned it. Chase Claypool, 0 receptions yesterday. I think targeted once or twice. And then he had that moment of frustration on the sidelines. Justin Fields went over there. Is it kind of like worrying at this point? We gave up a high second round pick, and he's got one more year for the Bears. Is it?
Yep.
On this Bears team, is it worrying going into next year, or are we still somewhat hopeful he could be like a solid number 2 at minimum?
No, it's worrying to me, Rick, and the only reason why I say that is because look who gave him up. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin. If there's one coach that you're riding with, if you had to choose one coach other than Bill Belichick that you want to choose to coach your football team, it's him. He's never had a losing season. And it looks like he's not going to have another one because if he wins next week, then that's another win, another winning season for him. That is a legitimate coach who knows what he's doing and knows football. There's a reason why he gave up Chase Claypool. Think about the Steelers right now. They're in almost in the exact same position the Bears are when they have a young quarterback who they need to develop. Why wouldn't you give someone like that if he's a legitimate number 2? Why wouldn't you give your young quarterback and Kenny Pickett? Why wouldn't you give him?
Those let him have that wide receiver.
Wide receiver. There's a reason why they let him go, and it's showing. It's showing here in Chicago.
Well, I think the one rebuttal I would say for that is they have a veteran defense and a solid defense at that, right? You got TJ Watt Manning there. Yeah, he's injured, sure, but a lot of the guys, like Fitzpatrick, a lot of those guys. Man. Honestly,
ever since he came
back,
that
defense, and Fitzpatrick there too, there too, right? And you have some, you have Deontay Johnson, you've got what's the other guy's name?
You got Najee Harris.
But who's the other wide receiver? Is he a rookie? George Pickens. Yeah. You have some at least solid talent there to kind of Kenny a chance. Hey, Ginger, what's up, man? How's it going, dude? I'm gonna
But-
cheers Ginger some water, but yeah.
But to
What?
piggyback off Jose, what you're just saying, Rick, is that I think that's what Jose means. Like, okay, they have the legit wide receiver 1 already. Why not keep a guy like him around? Even if him and Deontay Johnson are wide receiver 2 and 3,
Right.
like, you know what, you know, that's like, why give him up? You know, like Jose said, you don't want to give that quarterback a time. Whereas he comes over here and it's like, okay, you got a chance to be wide receiver 1 this year. Show us what you can do, and it's like you don't do anything. That's where, you know, to answer your question, for me, it's very alarming. Shoot, the pick we wasted for him, we could have drafted a wide receiver that probably performed better than he has.
Yeah, because
that's the worrying part right there, is the fact that we we can possibly give up a quote unquote first round pick for Chase Claypool simply because the Dolphins are not picking in the first round next year. So that pick could possibly be 32.
Yep.
33 at best for next year's draft, and that was the thing. I remember when the trade happened. I said, well, it was a good trade. You know,
we were on board.
I felt indifferent about it simply because it's the pick that we gave up. We gave up our pick for him, and I know I said, well, we took him away from the Packers, and I know I said that kiddingly and whatnot, but now looking at it, it's kind of like, okay, it took this offense 6 weeks to finally do something, right? The offense to finally get it together. This is already Chase Claypool's 5th week here with the Bears?
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah.
And he still hasn't grasped that offense that took this whole entire team, not only just a whole entire offseason, but also 6 weeks and preseason games to get along with this offense. So I'm gonna give it some time, but it is kind of worrying simply because even after the trade, the Bears haven't won a game since Claypool has been here. The Steelers have been 6-1 ever since that trade.
He's been injured a good amount of time.
You're kind of looking at it at the point where it's just like, what's Claypool holding this team back? The Steelers, and then we just gave up something so high simply because we were desperate. Like the Steelers found the desperate team that needed a wide receiver. I guess so. And the fact that the Bears gave up their second round pick, the Steelers knew that's going to be a high number 2. So of course they're going to go with that one. And then that's what makes this trade look like it's still indifferent, but we won't know until next year anyways.
Eric, but I wouldn't say the Steelers kind of finessed anybody.
They finessed the Bears, bro. You can't.
I think for that second round draft pick they did.
Excuse, bro.
No,
the
Bears. Okay. What I mean,
the Bears got finessed.
They didn't get finessed because the Steelers were like, no, look, listen. The Steelers were telling the whole league, because other teams were inquiring on it, even the Packers. They're like, look, this is our only wide receiver we'll touch. And to them, like, this is why I don't think you could say he was holding back the Steelers, because realistically, out of the group of wide receivers they have over there that we just named, he's their worst one. So they're going to take the best offer. It's the Bears' own fault for giving that up. I don't think it's the Steelers, like, I don't think he held them back, nor do I think like they kind of finesse anybody, because someone desperate for a wide receiver was going to take him regardless.
Yeah, but the thing is,
they just came up.
The thing is, in the Steelers and the offense, he was non-existent, right? And
right.
that's the reason why they let him go. And it's not a coincidence that George Pickens started emerging once he got that spot, and that says something there. It's like you like they're getting more production out of a rookie. You know what I mean? And that same exact position.
Not one, but two rookies.
Right, yeah, once you got rid of Claypool, that says something. That's and that is what concerns me. It's
even when they drafted that rookie, though, we knew he was wide receiver 1 over Claypool.
I mean, you would think on paper, but it has to show up on the field, and it has. And that
should have both paper.
Yeah.
Look, this is the only slack I'm gonna give Claypool, is that we were fed a whole bunch of hype that Mooney and Fields have been working together all summer long, and Mooney's going to take off. And to Claypool's defense, no wide receiver on this team has been good. Everybody's been damn near not exactly that.
That's also something you could put against him, because no other wide receiver has been good. So you should be able to show out.
No, I mean he just came in. He just came in. I mean, think about it. Our offense is still trying to find, like, what are they doing? The only thing we know is they're going to run the Fields. You know, it's literally like, this is the only slack, is like every wide receiver on this team has all offseason to step up. Next year, if you suck this bad, then it's like you're a bust. You're a bust. You got to get cut, whatever. But that's the only thing going for him is, look, I've only played It's about six games, and I'm not the only one not doing shit. Ain't nobody doing shit. And he's been injured. He just got off an injury. That's the only slack going for him. But considering what we gave up for him, if he doesn't step up next year, it's a terrible trade. It's a bust.
I mean, would it be somewhat of a, how should I say this? Would it be less of an impact, hurt wise, emotional wise, the pick that we gave up for him, if there's somehow some way Justin Fields just throws to Claypool and whatever result we get off of Claypool on the last game of the season, does it amend the trade or no? Will you have to wait till next season?
I think for all the wide receivers, not just him, we have to wait for next year. Like,
I mean, all of them.
Next
right
year's
now,
game, bro. Yeah.
Right now, our lead receiver is Mooney with like less than 500 yards, and he's been out for how many?
He's like a fucking D minus list.
Yeah. I mean, the injury.
And that's me being nice. I'll put him at an F tier if you want, but being nice, he's a D tier for wide receivers.
The injury definitely did not help, but it seemed like we're talking about Claypool, we're talking about Mooney, but yes, like it's just the talent again is not there. It's just not there. But I see a lot of talk about like what John said. Why not, instead of trading for Claypool, like Jose said, the Steelers found the team that needed a wide receiver desperately. Yeah. Why not instead use that second round draft pick, get an unproven wide receiver out of college, because it's still a high second round draft pick, and use the next year to develop him, because it's probably going to be the same thing whether or not Chase Claypool works out for the Bears next year. And again, you have to give, because I think I'm more on Eric's side, where I'm kind of worried, but I'm not there where I'm just like cut him loose yet, because I still want that off season with Fields and with just the Bears offense in general, for that to kind of flourish a little bit. Now, yeah, like you said, John, the whole hype, we ate up the whole hype of Mooney and Fields. We ate that shit up like it was like gourmet meal, right? And obviously we didn't see it. There was flashes of it, but there's been flashes of that for the last decade of Bears football. So I agree. But yeah, I've just been seeing a lot of like, we should have just used a second round draft pick on some rookie wide receiver. But we'll kind of leave the Claypool talk at that until, hey, you never know. He might ball out against the Vikings. We'll see. Yeah. But yeah, right. Yeah, nobody's buying that shit.
I mean, it's a mediocre defense that you could probably get away with it. So maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a possibility. It's a definite possibility that Claypool could, for the last game of the season, show out that he is actually worth the pick that the Bears gave up for him. Damn.
No. Yeah, for sure.
Damn, bro,
let's move on.
Your newborn's walking over there?
Nah, it's Emily's clumsy ass.
Let's move on to the defense. The defense got absolutely ran over by the Lions. And let's give credit to the Lions where it's due, right? They're a great offense. They are a very, very good offense this year. But the defense has just been lacking since Roquan and Quinn have been gone, even since what's his name, the linebacker, Sanborn. Even when he got injured, like even then it's just looked worse than that. So obviously there is somewhat of a lack in talent there too, but Alan Williams has not been doing any sort of good job, any sort of adjustments with the defense. Eric, I'll start off with you because you're looking like you want to say something about him. Like, what's the issue there?
Again, the only person you can't even grade Matt Eberflus for this year. You could kind of give a grade to Luke Getsy, I guess, because I think that's the most important part was Justin Fields' development. But with the defense, man, you gave Alan Williams very little to succeed. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Brisker improved, or Brisker looked good, Gordon looked good up until yesterday, but they looked good throughout the whole entire season.
I agree.
Jack Sanborn that came out of nowhere that was undrafted. You've had Morrow, who you got off the practice squad, who's actually your leading tackle. Like the stuff that, like the players that you've had Alan Williams have impressed by, it has worked. But you have nothing. This defense has no pass rush whatsoever. So you can't really blame a lot on Alan Williams for the lack of talent that he has out of a roster, out of a starting 11, and you only have 4 good players. That's you can't be touted, or you can't be graded on that. You can't be critical on that, because like on offense, this team struggles. To me, the most important part of this whole entire rebuild for next year is on the defensive front. Like, if you can't get to the quarterback, you're not going to win most of these games. And so if there's no pressure from the defensive line, not necessarily saying screw the offensive line, but screw the offensive line, because you need to get to the other team's quarterback to even have a chance to be in these games. Now, they've been in these games with this lack of talent, yes. But imagine if you did have a pass rush. At least the games will be a little bit different. So no. Allen Williams, again, everybody this year gets a pass, from Eberflus to Getsy to Williams, and probably the special teams might be the only one that you probably change. But even then, so everybody on this squad, every coaching member in this team, in this staff, for this year and this year only, deserves a semi-pass.
Jose, Tony Football, what you got?
I agree 100% with Eric. You cannot blame the defensive coordinator for this. The Bears and the Lions are on two different wavelengths for right now. The Lions are a team that are vying for a playoff spot. They're a team that their second half of the season is way different than ours, and it showed. So it's all credit to the Lions and that offense that they have. They have a great offense, man. Jared Goff he's been playing great. His passer ratings is I think last time I checked it was like over 100.
Yeah,
he hasn't had hardly any interceptions this season, very low, and that's credit to him, credit to that coaching staff, and that offense, because you have ballers. DJ Shark coming back in this offense has been great. Amon St. Brown there is great. You have two running backs that, just like the Bears, you have two running backs that know how to score, and DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. That they're
so good.
They're on a different wavelength than we are right now. So I agree with Eric, not to be so redundant, but you can't blame Allen Williams and that coaching staff. You just gotta sit there and take it, to be honest, because you don't have the talent in that team, and it's a shit show, to say the least. Like, it's okay, guys. Let's go out there and just try our best, and that's pretty much what you've been seeing.
And you've also, I feel like there does have to be some credit, because Sanborn played really well, before he got injured, and Brisker and Gordon. Brisker probably being the better player on the defense than Gordon. But Gordon still has a couple picks, has gotten some, has defended some passes here and there. He gets beat a lot by wide receivers, but he's a rookie, right? So, but still, the play is kind of getting elevated, and it's almost like a standard for rookies coming in. Like, hey, this is kind of the standard you got to play now. Like, to Brisker, to Gordon, to a lot of these guys. But yeah, John, what do you got on defense and Allen Williams?
I frustratingly agree with Jose and Eric. I feel like Poles and Eberflus should be the only ones whose jobs are safe. But when you blow up the defense, trade away our only, ideal pro bowler, it's like, what are you giving them to go expect to win games with, especially like we had a pretty tough schedule this year looking at overall. We haven't had a few. The games that we thought were going to be easy didn't turn out to be easy. I think our easiest one is probably the 49ers, and that's because Jimmy G was out. That's probably been our easiest game of the year, and we all said that Jimmy G started, we would have lost. But definitely, they unfortunately do get a hall pass. They get a get out of jail free card, whatever you want to call it. But it's like they're entering next season on the hot seat if we draft correctly, how we all expect Post to do, because then it's like, and Eric's making a face. It is what it is, but it's like, bro, you can't give them 2 seasons as a pass. And you're getting 30 pieced. You can't do that. You have to hold it. You got to give it to like
midseason of next year.
If Fields is improving, and you give him weapons, then you should expect the defense to be improving on their end as well. But the team should be improving as a whole. And if you see it where our offense is progressing and defense is not, homeboy, you got to bounce, bro.
So what if it becomes a season where the offense is keeping up with the scoring, and there is some, like you're saying, right? There is some weapons around Fields, but the defense is kind of hanging around there, middle of the pack type of thing. Are you still just like, yo, see ya?
No, that's it. You got to pass. You get a pass this year, next year. you're
I
gone.
don't know. See, I don't know about that, John, because there's too many holes to fill on both sides of the ball.
Mhm.
It
If,
is.
if the Bears go out and work on that offense, then that's going to kind of leave a lot to be determined in the defensive side. You know, if they go out there and fix that offensive line and get us some wide receivers, which is great, which is what I want. But that's not. But that none of that is helping the defense out. You're going to have to try to get some guys off free agency, or you know, it all depends on what the Bears do. But it's gonna be so hard to try to complete both sides of the ball and expect both of them to
I agree,
make
but
that next
you
step.
also have to look at the coaching. Like, what's his style, bro? Like, you have some coaches out here making nobodies, be a solid ass defender. They'll never be a pro bowler, but they're
that's what they're
enough
doing.
to do it.
Right.
That's not what we're doing.
Isn't
That's
that
not
what
what
they're
we're
doing with
We're
Jack
not enough.
Sanborn? Jack
That's what they
Sanborn
did
and
with Jack
somebody
We're not
else?
Sanborn. That's what they did
That's
with
a good
Brisker.
example.
That's what they did with Gordon.
That's one guy. What's the rest of the defense?
I literally just named you 3. What do you mean one guy?
No,
I literally gave you 3 rookies that popped up this year. Even
no.
the trade for Morrow, who improved this year too, as well as the Bears leading
Yeah,
tackle. What are you
he
talking
hasn't.
about with
He
just
hasn't
one guy?
increased. I think he's the leading tackler in this game
He is
too.
the
If I'm
leading
not.
tackler. And it's sad enough that Roquan Smith, even after he got traded, 5 weeks after he got traded, he was still the leading tackler for this team.
That's
Yeah.
it has a lot to say.
There you go. There's proof
Yeah.
enough that
Okay,
there's
so-
more. You need to do more on the defensive side of the ball than you do on the offensive side of the ball. To be honest with
No,
you,
bro,
Look,
that's
look,
been
no,
our
listen,
identity forever, dude. Then we're
No,
gonna have
I don't agree with that.
we're gonna have another running quarterback that doesn't have enough to win in the playoffs.
even then,
That's all you see in this league. That's all
it's
you
like
see in
what
this league.
1 or 2 linemen and a wide receiver.
We're
I
gonna be
think
the
that's basically
Baltimore
what we
Ravens.
need. On
Yes,
defense,
thank
we
you, John.
probably need 2 defensive linemen, probably 2 linebackers, hell, another
No.
safety at that point too as well, because
Yeah.
we don't know what kind of move,
Look,
what kind of
let me ask you.
how Eddie Jackson's going to come back from then
Yeah.
on. And even then, so you still need help in that secondary too as well, because you saw yesterday how pitiful that secondary was, including the 2 rookies that I just named that improved this year too as well. That you got that they need help in the secondary, because once they all go out like flies when it does in the NFL, there is really nobody else to step up. Honestly, there are more holes on the defensive side of the ball this year than the offensive side of the ball.
No.
Because at least in some games this year, the offensive lines held their own.
If
And some games this year, Justin Fields are like, okay, the offense did their thing. Justin Fields just kind of did his own little thing, which got him in trouble most in some of these occasions and some of these sacks. Yes, the Bears are desperate for a wide receiver. I think we all know that, and all the other 31 teams in the NFL know that too. But damn it, and I tell you, the Bears, we know that the Bears are known for defense. But man, come on, man, we cannot just sit here and say offense when you can't even get to not a single quarterback in this league.
Listen,
you
that's the
need
thing,
to
though.
get to this
Okay,
quarterback, man. That's
we
how
have-
you
we
also
have
win these
enough-
games too as well.
We have enough picks and draft capital to equally address both sides.
I don't know about picks.
That's tough.
Draft the salary cap or the cap space that we do have, we can
Bro,
fix a few of the holes.
gonna
but
come down to
it's
our
not enough
coaching.
picks to actually literally fix this whole
And
entire team.
It's gonna come down to the coaches and the GM. Are you guys gonna find those players late? Are you gonna get the good signings? I mean, you don't hear Mike Tomlin complaining. He got a rookie quarterback, rookie wide receiver. Their O line is nowhere near what it used to be when Big Ben. The 3 Bs were there. They're
But
nowhere
it's still
like
better
that,
than
no.
the Bears' offensive line, though.
Yeah.
You can even argue.
It
They're not
is.
even the steel curtain no more.
John, I think that's a bad comparison because they have
That's a super bad
it's
comparison.
a bad comparison because they have better wide receivers. They're all
Yeah.
their O line even now not the same, still better than ours, and they have
still
a way
have a
better
defense,
defense.
a defensive line with a,
And they have
with
a
a
way better
franchise
defense than we
altering
do.
defensive end in TJ
Yeah.
Watt.
I'm just
And I
saying.
mean, plus they got
you
Tomlin.
gotta
Exactly.
put
Plus
some
they got
pressure.
Tomlin, who's a Super Bowl
got-
coach, winning coach.
You got to put some pressure on the coaches and the GM to draft correctly, man. You can't just say, "Oh, well, we don't have enough. We don't have
I
enough."
here's the
agree.
thing.
That,
Here's the
that's,
thing.
that yes.
There you
I
go.
think
Yes.
polls.
That's
I
what I'm
think polls
saying.
and
Equally address
Eberflus.
both sides.
I think
Well,
polls and
hold on,
Eberflus know exactly what the pressure is right now. I think they
Right,
saw
for sure.
Matt
Because
Nagy
at
and
the same
Pace and were
time,
like, whoa,
if we
on,
go
Eric.
based off one draft so far that Ryan Poles
Yeah.
has had,
exactly. And they're still
Brisker
they're
and
still
Gordon, good.
players. Yeah.
right? But their
Bayless
third
Jones?
pick, Bayless Jones, for a third pick for that high, no.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
And then after that, it's kind of like what you have Braxton Jones, who's the offensive lineman that you picked up this year, who has played pretty okay, but yesterday had a whole ass stinker that made her even look bad.
Okay,
Great,
let
Matt.
me get
Hold on,
this
hold on,
question.
hold on,
though.
real quick. The thing about Alec Williams, the thing that I'll give Alec Williams, the reason. How about this? Let me start over. The reason why I think he's doing a good job this season is because you look at guys like Eddie Jackson who was struggling under the regime of Matt Nagy, and you started seeing before he got injured, you started to see him come back and play better. You see guys like Jan Sanborn who was undrafted, but under this regime, under this coaching staff, which is a defensive-minded coaching staff, because remember, Eberflus was a defensive coordinator in Indianapolis, has emerged to be a great player. And then you see Jalen Johnson, who looks like he's going to be a great player for us. You see Brisker, Gordon. That's the reason why I'm going to give this entire coaching staff not just the pass, but the benefit of the doubt, because they showed me that they do know how to coach.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
I would
my question
agree.
to you guys is, if in this offseason we only address offense, does that mean everybody on the defensive side gets a pass next year?
No.
No.
We'll get on Brian Poles and Pace and not Poles and Pace, Poles and Eberflus for not acknowledging the other
but
side
you're not
of the
going to
ball.
fire them next year. If the
No.
defense is bad next year, but we only address
I
offense, who are you going to
believe.
fire? Or you're not going to fire them?
I honestly believe that whatever high touted, like Eric Fisher, if he decides to become a free agent from the Kansas City Chiefs, becomes a free agent, that's their number one target. Anybody from their defensive lineman, the high touted defensive lineman, that's who the Bears are going to go. Or unless if they find that linebacker, like what's the guy from Indianapolis that they all love that Roquan was getting compared to? Muhammad, right?
Shaquille
Leonard.
Yeah, Shaquille Leonard. Thank you.
I was gonna say Jackson. I don't know why.
You're right. I don't know who I was thinking. But if they find a linebacker that's free and out there for this Bears defense, that's where they're going to get before the defensive lineman anyways. So, yes, just because we have this cap space doesn't necessarily mean we have to spend it stupid. We also have to be smart about it on who we need to bring in. Can you fill a few holes? Sure. I mean, yeah, you have to. But you're not going to give millions and millions of dollars that way simply because we're desperate and need. No, we have to approach this very smart. And we may have the highest pick or the second pick overall or the first maybe by the end of next week. But even then, you still have to be smart with that pick too as well, because you're not going to pick until middle of the second round, because that's where the Ravens are going to pick next year anyways in the draft.
So with all that being said, right? I feel like as Bears fans, we kind of just think playoffs or it's not a good season. So what do we rank next year as a success? With if let's say we do all the things correctly, we get a defensive lineman, we get a linebacker, we get some wide receivers, we get some weapons field, we draft really well. Jaquan Brisker, Jackson, Gordon, Jalen Johnson, they all come back, do really well. Tevin Jenkins is healthy. Borum and Braxton Jones, work out, and hopefully, Doug Kramer, the center, by the way, who was drafted by Poles, actually works out and replaces whoever the hell we have at center, because that sucks. Yeah, one of them too, right? It replaces that. What is the expectations for next season with everything going on? Is a wild card like, okay, we're definitely in the right direction? Is a 9-8 record but miss the playoffs good enough? What is, John? You're shaking your head no. What do you think it is?
Rick, this is the easiest question you've ever asked me, bro. If we do everything right, like you say, fingers crossed, it's playoffs. Every team, with every team, if you had Justin Fields as a quarterback and he took this leap that he has this year, like Justin Fields is like, he's on the map in the NFL. ESPN started talking about him. You see him all over, Instagram reels, all that. Like, people know who Justin Fields is. He's already being compared to Lamar Jackson even, and we had that comparison when we drafted him, but now like the league sees who he is. So if you do everything right to help him offensively and defensively, you have to make the playoffs, bro. You have to. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't care if you lose. Bust, I don't care if you lose first round. And Eric and this, this is why we would debate this with Jose. We argued, the last couple of years with Tony Mitch, Andy Dalton, Foles, whoever was under center, make the playoffs, because in the playoffs it's just one game, one Sunday. You just have to win one game by game, and that's what I'm saying. Make the playoffs, and then it's like that. You shouldn't be content missing the playoffs, dude. Every team in the NFL have Super Bowl on their mind, unless you're probably like the Texans or us this year. But if you improve yourself, then it's like, okay, absolutely playoffs. What do we say with the Bulls? They improved their team, bam, they got to be playoff bound. They didn't, bust. They missed the playoffs this year, bust. Same thing.
We'll get to them
with the Bears. Same thing with the Bears, especially looking at this division. If we fix everything, we should win. I personally think the Vikings are having a magical year this year. I don't see them repeating it. The Packers, they probably still won't give their man a wide receiver, no matter how much he asks for it. He's gonna jump on the Pat McAfee show complaining and begging for it. He still won't get it.
Yeah.
The Lions will probably be another team. They'll be 9-8, miss the playoffs, but their fans are content. We can't have that. They have Jared Goff. We have Justin Fields. You can't do that.
Yeah, I agree, and
I don't.
I guess the only thing I would disagree to kind of tweak that is if because this year in the NFL has been so weird. We're going into week 18 with still people possibly going in the playoffs or not. If the Bears somehow end up with a winning record and it comes down to week 18 and they go into some scenario that miss out on the playoffs on the last week of the season,
like Seattle,
like Seattle,
right
like
now, but
the Packers, like the Lions, like all three of those teams have a shot, but so many things have to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the Bears go into next year and this happens, a week 18, like a loss or a win, and they won and the other person won, so they're not in, I think I'd be happy with that because there's we still have some stuff done. We progressed a lot.
Yep.
And we just missed the playoffs by literally a scenario where we had to have somebody else lose or win.
Yes,
so
I agree with
Tony
that,
Football. What you got?
I agree with that. If you look at the Chargers, and I'm rocking the jersey, right? But if you guys look at the Chargers last year, if the Bears have a similar season like the Chargers did last year, where just like you just said, Rick, where it gets down to the last week, you win, you're in, or if somebody else wins, whatever. If it comes down to that scenario, I'm happy too because that's still progress. You're still almost good enough to make the playoffs. The thing is, football isn't basketball. Last year after the Bulls season, we needed the Bulls to take a step forward and win a round in the playoffs, right? That was our expectation. This year with the Bears, it's different. It's so different. It's just so many moving parts, especially with a team that has so much holes to fill. The football is complex. You can go from worst to first. Like look at the Bengals, right? And Burrow's second year. Look what they did, right? But that's also very rare. I look at the Chargers. I even look at the Bills. You've seen before they got Josh Allen. You've seen like their rise to fame. The Bills did it every year. They were getting better, whether it was record wise, making the playoffs. Every year they got better. Now they're this juggernaut in the NFL.
That was a slow grind. Yeah,
it was a really slow grind, but you've seen it every single year. I wouldn't mind that path for the Bears as long as it's progression and as long as it gets us to where the Bills are now, basically.
So you'd be pretty content with like at least like a 9-8 record, 8-9, something more than 3 wins.
I would this time around.
Be content with 4 wins next year.
No, not even that, because that doesn't look good either. Like Rick said, like 9-8. Just missing the playoffs, because that at least shows that, hey, like you're a year or two away from really contending here, and they should be with the team with Justin Fields.
And I think the most important part out of that 9-8 record is that does Justin Fields, has he gone for 3,000 yards passing? Exactly. Does he have 10 more touchdowns than he does interceptions?
No, bro, he actually goes for 3,000 rushing yards and only 1,000 passing yards.
Well, see, if that happens, then we're going backwards in my book.
Yeah, exactly. Eric, what is your I guess threshold for next year for the Bears?
I'm gonna put this out there because I've been saying this before we even got together, and all previous podcasts. I'm that guy that, to me, just do better than last year. Whether if now the Bears only won 3 games this year, if you won 4 for me, you did better than last year. But what have you done to improve is where my question is, right? Obviously, like we said, the Bears won 4 games. It's still like kind of like a stalemate. But be better. Be better than last year. This is to all my teams. I say this to all my teams that I root for. I just don't want nobody to misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm just saying that be better than last year. For example, the Bulls, if they make the playoffs and win and win 2 playoff games instead of 1 playoff game,
progress.
That's better than last year, right?
No,
that's just me in general. That's the type of person that I am. Now, do I want some improvement? Sure. I mean, obviously, I think we all want some improvement, right? Where that's not the only one. But just for everybody that's been watching us, that's listening to us, and that's going to listen to us, whether if we're on here, on Spotify, whatever airwaves that we use, just letting everybody know. That way nobody could say, well, where would no. I just want to be better than last year.
Yep.
That is my goals and my expectations. I don't expect no Super Bowl. I don't expect nothing. If I get playoffs, perfect, exceeding my expectations. There's
Yeah.
only one time in my life that I expected more from a team, and that was the 2016 Cubs. That's the only time I expected more than than last year, and I got it. But after that, just do better than last year.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
It was the best time of my life.
Sorry, John.
And when they won, for
There's
me,
nothing to
my
be sorry about.
expectations,
Both
my
our teams have the
expectations
same
for
amount of World Series wins.
the year after they won, make it to the NLCS. Guess what?
They
They
made it
met
to
my
the NLCS.
expectations by making
Yep.
it to the NLCS.
Yep.
I'm just letting you guys know how I am, so that way none of you guys could, misjudge my decision making on how I view my teams.
And we had Steve here in the comments. It's hard to get a top receiver unless you draft a top prospect with a running quarterback. Ravens have struggled with having Lamar. The quarterback needs to show he's making an effort to get the balls to his wide receivers. And I think
Good point. It's a really good point.
Yeah, and I think Justin Fields has done that. It's just that, again, what I said earlier, it's just constantly like, oh, ball to the hands, and it's on the ground now.
Well, we have yet to see it because of that reason. So you got to give them legit wide receivers and see what he can do, and then we can make our like right now we're giving him a pass. When it comes to passing wise, because he doesn't have that wide receiver. But when he does, then it's like, okay, all eyes on you, and you still make that throw.
In all honesty, in all honesty, the comparison to Lamar Jackson, in all honesty, Justin Fields a better thrower than Lamar Jackson ever was, even coming out of college.
Oh, I don't know about
passer,
that.
my guy,
passer, thrower, whatever.
I don't know about
He's a better passer than Lamar Jackson.
Coming out of college, yes, I would agree.
Okay.
Yeah,
even then now.
No, not now. Have you seen Lamar Jackson throw? The Duke can throw. He's just in the same boat. He's in the same boat as Justin Fields, where he has nothing around him. The only difference is they're not putting anything around. He's the only thing, John.
Yeah, that's it.
When you know he's your only offense and you put all your defenders on him, who else do you have to do anything?
Bro, listen, Mark Andrews on the Ravens is what Jimmy Graham used to do.
I was just having this conversation with my lovely girlfriend, right? We were just talking about Lamar Jackson. They're doing him a disservice. There's a reason why he has not come back from injury yet. And we'll talk about that Wednesday on the JCA Sports Podcast. We're gonna have a discussion about Lamar Jackson.
Tune in Wednesday.
There's a reason.
I wouldn't be surprised Lamar a free agent.
Exactly.
Sign that extension.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. That's exactly my reason right there. There's a reason why he's not coming back from injury yet.
Before week 6,
Derek Carter
was talking about getting him in the offseason, bro. Before week 6, right? Like that's when it happened.
Yes.
Man. So
but real quick though, I'm just throwing this out there. Can you imagine if the Raiders go sign Lamar?
I can see that.
That'd be great.
No surprise.
That would be great.
Definitely see that. That's
Josh McDaniels would ruin him.
Paulina says Mark Andrews is irrelevant. Trust me, she had him in fantasy.
No,
man.
I think.
Dude, I feel bad for anybody that took Lamar. He did not play in the playoffs or championships.
She said Lamar Jackson to the Lions 2023.
Hot take.
That'd be a scary team. That'd be a scary team.
Hey, if that happens, it don't matter what the Bears do this offseason, man. Then I'm happy with the 9-8 record.
John's gonna convert to a Lions fan. He's like, damn, that's crazy.
Told y'all beginning of the year the Lions will be better than the Bears.
That's true.
Man, if they get Lamar, that's scary.
I honestly thought the Bears were gonna finish 3rd and the Lions were gonna finish 4th, but hey,
I don't know. Ray, you've seen Hard Knocks too. I remember you talking about it before.
Yeah.
That staff, that coaching staff is just
they play hard.
They're fun to watch, man. They're lovable. They're a really lovable team.
They're fun and they're passionate, man. They love what they do. They love what they do. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens. The Bears, unfortunately, on a 9-game losing streak. Who knows what's going to happen next week against
10.
the Vikings?
10 games, buddy.
Is it 10?
It's gonna be 10.
Oh, it's gonna be 10.
It's gonna be 10.
John's Miss Cleo over here looking into the future.
It's gonna be 10. I'm taking the Vikings to cover, whatever.
Oh,
Johnny Parlay right here. Vikings cover.
Johnny Parlay.
Vikings cover. Bengals gonna cover tonight. They're up.
You heard it. You heard it here first. You may as well take the live bets while you can, people.
Yeah.
So, all right, but yeah, this team, the Bears, are just ready for the offseason and pretty much just ready for either spending money, spending draft picks, whatever they got to do. But it's going to be even more interesting after next week, after the Vikings game, to really see, like, do we have the number 2? Do we have the number 1? Do we have the number 4? Do we have, which pick we have?
Who do the Texans play? I haven't even looked that up. You guys know offhand? Do the Texans play next week?
I want to say they play the Jaguars.
Ooh, no, they just played them.
They just played the Jaguars.
Or either that or the Colts. No, the Titans. The Titans.
Oh, no. I think
The
Jaguars
Titans
play
face the
Titans.
Jaguars.
Oh, in
they're
that
case,
it's
they're
the
fighting
Colts.
for the
It's the
the
Colts.
Colts. It's the
Yep.
Colts.
Yep, Colts. Oh yeah, a rematch
I don't know.
of
They
their
could
tie.
possibly win that game.
you never
I feel
know,
like
right?
I feel like they're gonna purposely try to lose, but they might just accidentally win because the Colts are that
You
bad.
got to. If you're the owner of the Texans, you know you're doing what the owner of the Dolphins said. Hey, I'm gonna pay you
That-
$100,000
Absolutely, bro.
to lose these games. You have to.
Absolutely.
That's one thing I will say about the
Absolutely.
Bears.
I'm like, bro, look, I won't trade you this offseason. Just lose this game for me, bro. Don't.
I know, Eric, you don't believe me when I say this, but I am 100% certain. Poles and Eberflus were in cahoots and we're like, yo, the play calling, make that terrible in the fourth quarter
I'm
of
not mad at
every
it.
game.
I'm not
Make
mad
it
at
the
it.
worst. And yeah, Tony's not mad at it,
I'm
man.
not mad
Neither
at
am
it.
I. Believe me, me and Eric were here with Tony, right? We were telling you, we want to win. We want to win. We want them to win. And you're like, nope, I don't want them to win. I don't want them to win. And then the play calling was literally garbage. And that's exactly what led to a number 2 pick right now.
If you were to have told me at the beginning of the year the Bears would get the number 2 pick, I'd be like, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Me too. I would have been like,
as low as my expectations were for the Bears this year, I would not expect us to get the number 2 pick.
I would have said a bottom top 10 pick is what I would have said.
I would have said probably the lowest you get is like a number 6.
But if you're the Colts, think about this. If you're the Colts, maybe
if you're the Colts, I'm starting Nick Foles.
Yeah. Maybe you tank, right? Maybe you tank for the Texans to get a win, and the Bears get the number 1 hit spot, so that way you could trade for the Bears the number 1 spot. Because again, who needs a quarterback? The Texans do it. So do the Colts. So you can take that quarterback away from the Texans.
We'll take Michael Pittman or Jonathan Taylor.
Pittman or Taylor would be a good one.
It really would. We had this conversation last week, Eric.
We did have this conversation. Yeah, y'all were talking about this.
So many things the Bears could do. Yeah. There's so many options if they have the number 1 and the Texans the number 2. People are saying like either draft Will Anderson or draft Stroud and then see who's going to give you the most for Stroud at that point for a quarterback. Whatever team needs a quarterback. Why don't you think so though, Eric?
I honestly believe that, like, if the Bears get the number 1 draft pick, everybody would just stand put. I honestly believe, because that what did I say last week, Jose? The number 1 pick has only been traded 5 times.
He's saying that the number 2 pick has more value, but I'm telling you that's not the case because, you're right. Everyone knows the Bears won't get a quarterback, but who's behind them that will? The Texans. Yeah. So who's going to want to come before the Texans to get the quarterback that they know the Texans are going to grab? Their rivals, the Colts, who need a quarterback. The Titans are not even sure if they like their quarterbacks. They might jump in. Who else needs quarterbacks? There's a lot of teams in that division that are going to want to get before the Texans. A team they know is guaranteed going to take the top quarterback because the Bears don't need one. That's why the number 1 pick holds more value.
The Bears are going to do what the Steelers did to us. They're going to be like, look, this is what we got.
Exactly.
The best offer gets it.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't mind. I honestly don't believe so. And the only person that probably made his case of being probably that top quarterback coming out of this draft was C.J. Stroud in Ohio State. But just again, mind you, they still have to do the pro day. Some might even do what is that? What is that? The East-West game, I think, where all the best players or who are the players that need to have their stock rise up. They play that
like
game.
the All-American game or something.
Whatever.
Like
No, I think the All-American's high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever that little All-Star game for all the top draft picks going there. The pro day. I think the pro day is the second most important one before the draft combine. So even on top of all of that, let's just say the Bears do get that number 1 draft pick. There's again, if the Bears do get these massive ass picks for that number 1 pick, cool. I guess so, right? But again, it's CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is probably going to be the number 1 quarterback in that
Alabama,
team.
Eric.
Caleb Williams, USC.
Bryce Young is another one out of Alabama. Yeah. Bo Nix is coming out of Oregon. He's also good.
It's just only 2. Let's be honest. It's only 2.
Nah, bro. If you've been watching the bowl games, there's a lot of quarterback talent.
Man. And I only watch the important ones, and that's the one for the championship. That's it.
So you're watching that next week's, and that's it.
Pretty much. That's how I am. But no, I honestly believe like the Bears being at number 1 is kind of like more like a disservice type of thing.
Yeah, but neither of those quarterbacks are playing next week.
No, I know, but CJ Stroud, you see how he torched Georgia's defense?
And so did Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Again, with Alabama did the same thing. They whooped on I forgot who they played, but it was like 55. It was like 45.
Kansas State.
Yeah, Kansas State.
Yeah,
They
but that's Kansas State. Kansas State's in the Big 12. They don't play no defense. We all know this, man. We all know this, man. They don't play no type of defense. It's all
Alabama's still Alabama, who was ranked number 5th in the country. Come on, we know this.
Yeah.
So they're mainly going to see more Bryce Young, what he did in the regular season, instead of Bryce Young, what he did in the bowl game.
I will agree with Eric to a point that it seems almost like a curse than a gift if the Bears do get the first round pick. But it's like, man, I feel like it's both at that point because you hold so much power. You're like, hey, yo, who needs a quarterback? Who wants to give up the most for this quarterback, right? What will the Texans give us? What would the Colts give us? What would the Panthers give us? You know, it depends on which team it is. The Seattle pick that they got from the Broncos, would they give up, DK, Kenneth Walker? Probably not a Kenneth Walker, but maybe someone on that defense that has been doing really well. You know, you never know what happens. So I think there's a lot of power in that first round pick, but I think there's still enough in that number 2.
The thing is, Eric,
first overall, yeah.
But Eric even made his own point as far as like there's only one true quarterback that he believes is going to be a good one, right? So if that's the case, that's why the number 1 pick, is so important because if it goes to the Texans, they're taking it. So then who's going to want the number 2 quarterback? Then they're not going to want him as much as the number 1 quarterback coming out. That's why you want the Bears to have a number 1, so you could take that away from the Texans, who will grab them at number 2. It holds more power. It's going to hold more power.
All this to say the Bears suck this year. But let's move on to another not so great team. Let's move on to the C Red segment brought to you by Star 6 Media and all the guys here. And what was that?
Who's hurt though? Like this game's at a standstill with everybody on the field. Like who got hurt?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, you're talking about Monday night?
Yeah, this has to be a serious injury. I'll look it up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. But yeah, let's move on to the C-Red segment brought to you by Star 6 Media. Go check us out. You see the ticker down there at the bottom of your screen. Go check us out on all the social media platforms and on all the podcast platforms. C-Red segment, the Bulls have won 5 of their last 7, 16-20 on the season. They've got wins against the Heat, the Hawks, the Knicks, the Bucks, the Pistons, but they have lost against the Rockets and the Cavs. Earlier during this, kind of reawakening, and it was almost not reawakening necessarily, but they've done pretty well over this last stretch of games. Earlier before that, there was a lot of talk there was tensions flaring up in the locker room. Zach LaVine seemed to be the center of attention there. His lack of defensive play, DeMar being the star of the team, it seemed that way. Does winning cure this? Because it seemed like it has, and it seemed like a lot of these guys kind of just brush it away.
Real quick before we get into this, just to update everybody, it was DeMar Hamlin from the Bills who got hit helmet to helmet right in the head. He stands up. As soon as he stands up, just collapses straight back down, just straight back to the field, like out.
Oh,
nice.
Man, that's crazy.
That's scary.
Hopefully he's good. Hopefully he's good.
On a stretcher going in the ambulance. It's really scary. Hey, you can look it up on Twitter. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just what does winning cure this? Like this whatever is going on in the locker room in the Bulls? I don't know, John. What do you got on this?
You know what? I'm gonna say winning does cure it, only because we've seen it with the Brooklyn Nets. They're about to blow it up, with Kyrie and KD. Not to say DeMar and LaVine are equivalent to Kyrie and KD, but they're supposed to be a top 1 and 2, like a KD and Kyrie. So there's tension between your 2 stars. But let's be honest, Vooch isn't a star. Although sometimes Vooch outperforms Zach LaVine's $200 million ass.
He does.
Vooch is not a star. Zach LaVine finally earned his paycheck the other day, and then he went back to being a bust against the Rockets. But I definitely think, when you're winning, the whole team feels good. It's just how it is, in sports. If you played sports, if you coach sports, you guys get on a win streak, everybody feels good. It's like, forget about why we got into it on the bus last week or in the locker room, whatever. But don't get me wrong, when you have expectations and you're not performing to it, then you have guys start blaming each other. And these are grown ass men making millions, and I do believe that they still care about their sport, about winning. It's not just all about money. So if we argue as like, amateurs, high schoolers,
Mhm.
whatever level we play sports, imagine how people making millions are playing, because then it's serious. If you don't
Yeah.
if you don't perform, then you talk about, are we gonna blow it up? You got somebody probably just bought a house out here.
These are
Then,
careers. Yeah.
yeah, these are careers, these are for real things, and it's like I do think that winning will help the team chemistry. I will say, bro, it was typical Bulls to be on this win streak, ride so hot, and then just lose to the Rockets. Like, that's typical bullshit. Just like
Yeah.
Bulls shit, literally. I'm just like, damn, bro.
And that's it. And that's with DeMar scoring 31 and Zach at least getting
Yes.
22. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
just
that's at
like,
least 22.
it's just so frustrating. It's like we cannot keep blaming the absence of Lonzo Ball, because even with a healthy Lonzo, it's like we still don't compare to the big dogs. We damn sure don't compare to Brooklyn. We don't
Hey,
compare to
real
Boston.
guys, supposedly they're doing CPR in the guy.
Oh my God, it's that bad?
Is it on
Yeah.
TV?
No, well,
Oh, wow.
they're literally there's an ambulance on the field, and they're not even getting close to those players. It's wild. Sorry,
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I don't mean to cut. It's just this is
everybody's on their
crazy.
knees praying.
This is
If
wild.
you flip to the game, they're on their knees praying. Holy shit!
Wow.
Dude,
DeMar Hamlin, yeah.
Can you imagine what like if someone were to die, and especially at a season like this where
They would.
concussions
During
are
the
like,
game, oh my
it's
god.
DeMar Hamlin. For those watching.
JST. Yeah,
Holy shit.
JST. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining the stream. But it is DeMar Hamlin on the ground for the Bills, right?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, he's in the
Yeah,
ambulance now.
that's
Yeah, they
rough.
just cut to commercial again, but you seen
Yeah.
everybody kneeling, whole stadium's quiet, just ambulance in the middle of the field. That's scary.
Jesus,
Yeah,
that is insane.
I seen it twice in my life live, where I seen two soccer players actually have a heart attack during a live game.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
think
first the one I think it was 2 years ago with Christian Eriksen, the 1st game of the Euros 2020, when they kind of went around most of Europe or in a certain radius.
Mhm.
Like, I want to say it was like 15, 20 minutes into the game, he just collapsed and he had a heart attack playing on the field. The last one that I remember was back in 2004, player in Sevilla. He scored. He just missed a shot, ran out of bounds, and he just fell over. They resuscitated him. He came back to life. They took him to the hospital, had another heart attack, and died at the hospital. So,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I've seen those games live myself, where I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, this is really sad. Hopefully, I mean, what I'm hearing, like Tony said, it's CPR is on the is happening right now on the field. Wasn't Ericsson's a cardiac arrest? Yeah. JST, yep. Yeah, hopefully he's all right. Again, like John said, they're still kind of commercial, but they're back at the game now. I don't know. There's nothing that seems to be going on. I don't know. Do you keep playing the game after something like that?
How do you play?
No, I think you
Yeah.
have to stop the game. Honestly,
Yeah.
if that would have happened.
I think at that
Out of
point,
respect.
you're look at both teams. You got nothing
Mhm.
to play for. It's just seeding. I think they just get a tie. You're fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, as a player, I wouldn't even want to play if my teammate
Right.
gets passed in the middle of the game,
Yeah.
or even an opposing teammate for that. In general.
Yeah, that's insane. Devin Hamler, is he on the defense or offense?
I think he's on the defensive side. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jeez, I don't. This is you got Josh Allen and Burrow kind of talking there, seeing what's going on. But yeah, we will keep you guys updated if anything does happen. If we see anything, they've just completely stopped the game. Like, nobody is doing anything right now. So insane. But okay, we'll try to get back to C-Red, and we'll keep you guys updated as we go on with the live stream, on with the podcast.
Diggs crying.
Yeah, Diggs is crying. Like, it is very serious on the field right now. Monday Night Football between the Bills and the Bengals. But like I said, we'll try to keep you guys updated as it moves along. John, so you mentioned Lonzo Ball. We are talking about
the Bulls
his comeback in the making. One of the things that really surprised me, and I wrote this down. January 14th will be 1 year since he last played a game.
It's actually my birthday.
It'll be 1 year.
It's actually my birthday.
And it's John's birthday, so happy birthday on that. That kind of sucks, I guess.
I wasn't a Lonzo fan. Just kidding.
Yeah, facts. It's been 1 year when back that day last year, it was a 4 to 8 or 6 to 8 week recovery period for what happened to him. It's been a year. It's going to be a year.
Rick, you weren't with us yet, but I said it in the summer. I said I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Lonzo suit up all year.
I feel like
I called it.
You
bro.
mentioned that though a couple times. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, every time we bring up Lonzo, you guys are hopeful. I'm like, nah, bro.
Well, he's making progressions now, so that, it's slow, like as they said, but you guys mentioned. But let's see. Let's just see. My thing is you can't. This is the whole reason I brought up Lonzo is you can't keep blaming the absence of Lonzo. What his team is mediocre at best, bro. Yeah,
like you still got LaVine, you still got DeMar, you got Vooch, you got all the bench players. Literally, they're coming out, they're showing out. I feel like aside from DeMar getting his, you see bigger plays from Pat Williams and Ayo, maybe Zach sometimes. Dragic.
Drummond is doing really well.
Drummond too. Drummond is a big presence, but still, it's so frustrating. We're still like middle of the pack. What are we, like 9th seed? And it's like, and we were hoping we'd be like at least a 5.
Yeah.
What you want to see?
We're still below 500, or we just
4th in the Central.
The thing is, what you want to see is because you're right. But it's all been what they've been showing as of late. So remember last year around this time they were the complete opposite.
They're number one. We were jumping on the wagon.
Right, exactly. They were the complete opposite, and so you can see how it could turn around, in an instant. So what I will say positively about this team is that they're starting to show a little bit of fire in the defensive side, which is why they've been a lot closer in games. They still have a 3-point deficiency. But these last couple of games they've been playing, they've really been showing something. LaVine with the 42 points. Even the other day when they lost to the Cavs with that 1-point loss, they went down to the wire. DeMar DeRozan just didn't have it in that last second shot. But it was still but they literally closed it out for them to even be in that position. Yeah. It was like a 9-0. Like, dude, it was they needed at least 3 or 4 different stops, and they got every single one. Defensively, late in games, they've been playing better. So we just need to see that improve. We need to see that consistent. And who knows? Maybe it's a complete opposite of last season where they make a run down the stretch. And when you do get Lonzo, I don't expect much from him
next year.
But he has a help.
Next season?
Next season. This season.
This season? Are you sure?
I'm hoping.
We got a better shot at signing his brother who keeps getting assigned in the G League and cut. That's the only ball. Only one of the Ball brothers will see suit up.
What's his name? I forgot his name.
LaMelo or LiAngelo?
No, LiAngelo.
Yeah,
I'm about to say Giovanni. I don't know.
God damn.
Le Giovanni. Well, and the only reason I say that is because it's been a year, man, and it's going to be a year, and we're 5 games away from halfway through the season, where it's like, will he start the season or not? Like John said, you can't keep blaming it on Lonzo being out, but the defense has kind of stepped it up, like you said, Tony. Is there any hope for this season at all? John said that we were number 9. I think what's the number? What do you have to be at the minimum to be in the play-in?
7.
8.
6, 7, and 8 are the playout thing. Wait, are we talking to Tony basketball?
No,
right now?
7 and 8 are the play-in. 6 isn't the play-in. 7 and 8 are the play-ins. Remember, the Bulls were the 6th seed last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to play the fucking Bucks.
Yeah, so it's a 7 and 8 seed that you got to be in the play-in. But that's not minimally. It's the 10th seed. You got to be the 10th seed because remember the 8 seed plays the 9th seed and the 7 seed plays the 10th seed. So it's the 10th seed minimally you got to be in. So as long as they're in those two, so as long as in those last 4 spots, you have a shot. And again, all we need is what happened last year to be the complete opposite, where they sucked the entire this season. They sucked the entire first half. The second half, they just turn it on and show us something. Because you never know.
Shit. Look, I just checked the standings. We're the 11th seed.
Okay, so
we're right outside there. We're right outside. Yeah,
we're right outside, so we can get hot.
So what is something?
This is what we need. This is what we need.
What is something that you guys want to see from the Bulls in 2023? And that could be anything. That could literally not only like, oh, I want to see the team play better defense. Like, do you want to see a trade? Do you want to see somebody get cut? Do you want to see an addition? Do you want to see? What do you guys want to see in 2023?
I want to see what I've been seeing lately.
Trade?
I want to see what we've been seeing lately. This level of play on the defensive end is what's going to keep you close in games. Look again, the same Cavs team that they lost to by 1 point. They made it so close. They're beating them tonight. So they're playing right now. They're beating them tonight. Whatever they're doing differently.
Yeah.
Continue it, because it'll only be better for you like later on in the season. That's just continue to do what you're doing, and as far as trades go, look, first off, don't disrespect Vooch saying he's not a star.
He's not.
Put him.
He's
No,
not
no,
a star.
he took a step back because he had to, because you have DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, two guys who need the ball in their hands dominantly. But remember what he was when he was the man in Orlando. He was a 2-time All-Star. The man deserves his flowers. The only reason why you don't see that type of Vooch is because you can't with all these other guys around him. And that's not his fault. It's not. It's coaching.
And it kind of goes to like, I feel like what the attitude with Zach is I hear a lot of like him questioning his role in the team. Like, am I actually the star? Do I get the ball in the last minute of the game? Do you know? Like, with the way he's playing?
No, when DeRozan first came, we all said this is still Zach's team. But then Zach started playing like a bum, and Vooch just started playing like an all-star. I mean, not Vooch. DeRozan started playing like an all-star like he's never been before, like legit all-star, where you had other teams regretting not signing him. Then it's like, nah, bro, you lost this being your team. Just because you got paid don't mean it's your team again. Like, you got to earn that shit back.
And just a quick update. It seems like Devin wasn't Devin Hamlin, right?
Yeah.
DeMar Hamlin, sorry, has been taken away in the ambulance. They're both coaches are kind of conversing with the officials right now, seeing if they're going to restart this. I don't think if they restart it, then to a point at least DeMar Hamlin's fine. But if DeMar Hamlin's not okay, I like, you have to cancel this game. I mean, if you're the NFL and you give a shit about player safety, I think you cancel this game, right?
Absolutely.
They're
really
both,
care about
both
player
coaches are
safety,
saying,
though.
What'd you say?
They're talking to each other. So
they're talking to the refs. Like, which one do?
Yeah.
I mean, but does the NFL really care about player safety though?
That's a very good question.
They care about money. With the amount of money they make, there's literally other ways you can make the game safer, but it's going to take away from the sport of football. It's not going to be the same football.
Yeah,
and that might turn people off. So, and if that turns people off, that's less money. So,
I'm not trying to disrespect the player that just got hurt, but there's going to be some new improved rule next year. Like Tony said, is going to make the game not
something.
But you need it though, because you have to, man. Like this is.
I mean, you do need it in cases like this, but we've also seen all last year and the previous years where they just take away the fun in the game, bro.
I mean, this year too. Look
at
this year and all that Tua, what he went through. I'm Pettis yesterday, what he went through.
Oh wow. The game has been temporarily suspended until further notice.
Yeah, he told everybody to go to the locker room.
Players are going to the locker rooms. I'm hearing it. I'm seeing it now on Twitter right now. Yeah. So the Bengals-Bills game has been suspended right now, at least from what I'm seeing on Twitter. I'm seeing some blue check marks, although I don't know if they're paid for or if they're legit.
Well, if you look on the screen, everybody's going to the locker room. So I'm assuming they're going to wait to see what's going on.
Wait and see what's going on. Yeah,
because again, like you can't play.
No, not with that on your mind. No. You cannot. But yeah, that is kind of what's going on with the Bills-Bengals game. But let's hope for DeMar Hamlin being all right. And the game, like I said, is suspended for now until further notice. So what were we were talking about the Bulls? What were we saying about Vooch, or what was the last thing being said? Sorry.
We were talking about how we mentioned Jose had saying don't disrespect Vooch, but then we jumped on LaVine, whether this was his team or not. And I was saying no, like he definitely, it was his team when DeMar first came and he lost it. Just based on performances, how he performed, how DeMar has performed. Mm-hmm. And even the fact that he got paid, it doesn't mean you get this is your team again. Like, yes, you got paid because you're loyal and the market, the way it worked, like you got that max deal, but this is not your team. It's definitely, folks, other teams come here and they know, like, okay, DeMar's the go-to guy. DeMar's who we got to double team in the clutch situations.
Yeah, and you saw that with the Bucks in the playoffs last year, right? So you saw they double teamed them. They shut them. Game 2 was the only time you showed out.
Your house, bro. We watched the game at your house and they just dogged the fucking Bulls. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay, Tony, just ignore me.
No, I'm sorry. Because I'm going on Twitter to figure stuff out, right? And I'm saying, why is Kyrie Irving the number one trending thing on Twitter? And it has to do with him changing to number 11, which has some meaning to it.
That happened like 3 days ago.
Yeah, but why? What is going on with that?
It's a lot. It's like 6 different points.
That's wild. I'm sorry. I got distracted.
I think that's a number that doesn't make fun of like Jewish people. I guess he's trying to be like anti-Semitic.
It has to do with like the time he was born, something about his father ward.
Oh,
It has a lot.
okay,
It's a
okay.
lot. It's
No,
like 6 different things.
I don't
And
know.
you're just like, bro, that can't be. That's a lot of coincidences.
Yeah, that is too many. All right, we'll try to jump back into C-Red here. There are obviously a lot of things going on. Eric, what's
Tony's
one
on
thing?
Twitter for no reason.
Eric, what's one thing you want to
I
see
get
from the
distracted, I'm sorry.
Bulls in 2023?
This team is trash. I don't care. I love the optimism.
Y'all call me. Y'all get on me when I call folks
that this
bums.
team could do this, that they're planning to do that, that this is this. You know what I saw when the Bulls won 3 games in a row, and then they had that clunker of a game after the third game that they won. This is what the Bull season is going to be, guys. Nothing is going to change. You can improve this, you can improve that, you can do better this, you can do better that. You can have this meeting here, you can have this meeting there. At the end of the freaking day, guys, this team is straight booty cheeks simply because of the power that the players have in this team, and the man that got paid undeservedly $200 million is the reason why this team is trash. You guys said he doesn't even know what his role is in this team. That's a problem.
Questioning it. Yeah, he's questioning
That's a big problem if you don't know what your role is in the team. A team that you were here for the last 5 years before you got paid, 4 or 5 years before you got paid. DeMar DeRozan was supposed to be here to help you out, and apparently when he came in, you took a back seat to it, and now you want it back. You want to be the driver after you showed up. After you can't show up even before you even got played. You played hurt. Kudos. There's not a lot of players that play hurt. There's not a lot of players, that will risk their careers, just by a little stab pain here and there. They'll sit down. The moment this man got paid, we couldn't even see him in the first game because he was what was it? What was his reason?
His knee is he had
talk about it. He started this whole
it was like
this
a
load management type of
knee.
player now after he got paid.
There was fluid in his knee, and which
whatever
happens,
the case may be.
It happens, Eric.
It just I know it happens. It's happened to me, and you don't want that shit to happen because that hurts.
Right. So you can't expect him to play. Even
then, Jose. Even then, guys. You still want to be the driver when you still don't even deserve to be in the passenger seat because you're still riding back seat because these guys that supposedly came in to help you is helping you get to where you were supposed to be. Vooch came in the year that they traded for Vooch. All right, cool. They couldn't play together because one was hurt, and then when one came back, the other was hurt, and we only saw him for like 2 days, whatever the case may be. Whatever. Lamar came in. We had a whole entire season, this, and that. Cool. We saw whatever. Now that this dude got paid, he doesn't know what his role is. Why did we pay the man in the first place?
And he's getting angry about it too. Like the whole
like,
thing in the locker room.
I told you guys before, and I kept saying it again, that you don't pay this man. But you guys are like, oh well, the Bulls need to do this so players can see that this guy, this and that, this and that. And what has that got you now? We're pissed off that they've sucked.
But that's the thing.
We're pissed off
that
they can't play defense. We're pissed off that the offense.
But that's the thing. It already happened.
We're even pissed off that the coach got an extension during the offseason that nobody even knew about.
Right. That was on the download too.
Right.
That was on the download.
That was the wrong thing to happen to as well.
Right.
But this is what happens when you pay, and I'm gonna keep saying this. This is what happens when you pay a guy who barely cracks top 30, and you give him a $200 million player simply because you want the rest of. You know how else you can get the league's attention? By signing and trading and bringing in who else you wanted to get to as well. The organization, these AK and Eversley did not have no type of loyalty whatsoever to Zach LaVine. And so now you're in this situation and waiting for Lonzo Ball to come back just to see if we have the same magic last year, how he started as the number 1 seed up until he got hurt. Guys, this team, even if Lonzo Ball does come back, this team still can't rebound, which was the same problem last year. This team has struggling shooting for 3 points, or their 3 points percentage is worse. Their mid-range is at average at best. They don't even get to the line as much anymore because they're afraid of a little damn contact. And you guys want to be overly excited about the 3-game stretch that they had where they win, and they're playing a little better, even though they still lost in most of the games.
Yes, Eric. Why? Like yes. You want to know why? It's because look at last year.
This team is
look at last season.
And this is a
bro.
This is
okay, we heard it. We got it. We know it. We say the same thing every week.
Entire year, bro. In the off season, when you stay complacent in the off season, you don't improve this team.
10-game winning streak has to start with one, right? You got to start somewhere. And another reason, and nobody's sitting here saying that they're gonna all of a sudden turn the corner. All we're saying is that it can happen because look what happened last season. Look what happened last season.
This team is not good enough.
They're not good enough to win a championship. We know this.
They're not even good enough to make the playoffs.
They might. They just might.
They're not good enough to make.
They're
the
going to
playoffs,
be
Jose.
pretty subpar going into the playoffs if they
They
continue
are.
the way they're doing.
They are. They're going to be pretty subpar, but they might just make the
conversation we
playoffs.
had a while back. This year, the Bulls are actually beating the big teams, but struggling against the bad teams.
I guarantee they make the playing game.
But,
I guarantee they make the playing
Last
game.
year, we beat the bad teams, but couldn't even compete against the good teams.
but
Let's
Eric,
Make a bet right now.
but if we make the playoffs and win 2 games, isn't that better than last year?
Tell him, John.
Playoffs.
You got
Are
to
you
smile
talking
for
about
me.
the
Tell him,
You gotta
John.
smile for me.
Because
Tell
last
him.
year they made the playoffs. This year, if they make the play-in game, you're still playing in to make the playoffs.
Right. So
technically,
playoffs,
no.
make the
Right.
playoffs, and then win 2 games.
Right, make the playing games,
It's
go in the
improvement
playoffs,
from
win
last
2
year.
games.
To make the
It's an
playoffs 'cause
improvement
this
from
team's
last
not
year,
even
which
good
is what
enough
you
to
say
be
you
in
want
the
from your team.
playoffs.
Exactly. It's an
That's
improvement in
your
Eric's
words
eyes.
is you want improvement from your teams. So this should be
I
2
understand. I know
playoff
what I
wins.
said. You're right about that, but this team is not even good enough to be in the playoffs. This team is
But-
barely struggling to even make it into the
Okay.
playing game.
Which is why we were just saying we want them to
How
get
about
hot.
let's bet that they make the playing game? Do you think they're gonna make the playing game? Because I do.
I'd bet that. I'd bet that.
I wouldn't bet on it.
I would.
I
I
would.
would.
wouldn't.
The way they've been playing, I'd bet that they're going to make the playoffs.
The way that they've been playing, what, the last week?
The last week, yeah.
Compared to the last
the last
20
week,
games before,
the last
prior to
week,
that, 20
how
some
they're
odd
playing
games?
tonight.
What happened last year, Eric? What happened
Lonzo
last
might
year?
come back. Lonzo might come back.
What happened last year, Eric?
What?
It was-
That they started off strong, and then once Lonzo went out, this team was straight ass afterwards.
trade
and
for
they
anybody,
couldn't
trade for a
they couldn't-
point guard,
They were
Rick.
playing below. They were like, what? After Lonzo's injury, there were 7 games below 500 after his
Right.
injury.
And
only
now it's-
reason
and now
why
it's the
they were
complete
even in
opposite.
the playoffs in the first place was that they had that hot start in the very
Exactly.
beginning.
Exactly. So now,
There's no hot start now.
but they can have a hard start today and then go and pay it
my
forward.
God.
Come on,
And
man.
They can have, dude. How many times have we seen it this year that the Bulls played an excellent game one game and played 2 straight bad games the next 2 games?
I
after?
get it. I get it.
How
We
many times have
understand
we
this.
seen the Bulls
We
play
understand this,
2
but here's the
straight
thing.
games and then play ass the next.
Yes,
How many
we
times have we
know.
seen this Bulls
We
lose
know.
up to
Eric.
7 games in a row?
We know this. We know this.
Okay, so
We're all aware.
Where do you see
We're
the
all
improvement if
aware.
you say we
But
know this?
What
Don't
we're
give me an
saying,
excuse. You
what
know
we're
damn well
saying
this team
is what
bad.
happens
Hopeful.
going forward. Because the thing is, everything that you're complaining about already happened. We're here now.
and it's still
You
continuing.
can cry,
We
and you
already
can
have-
bitch,
it's still
and you can
continuing.
moan about everything that's happened. Poor Bulls. We have a $200 million who doesn't share. Whatever. It happened. So now what do we do going forward? They have to play better. They have been. Let's see where it goes. They can lose 3 more games after this. So regardless of the fact, they still have to play the games. Hopefully they win. Hopefully they make the playoffs. We all know they're not going to win the championship, so it doesn't matter. But again, they need to get better. Regardless of the fact, we still got to root for them getting better or blow it all up. Either way, both seem fine to me.
Yeah. And that really is it, because the one thing I think the Bulls have to decide on too on this upcoming offseason after whether or not they make the playoffs is whether they sign DeMar or let him walk. Because I think the option or restricted free agency for him is coming up after this year, and unless I'm wrong.
I honestly think you have to keep DeMar and try to trade LaVine.
But
That's not
but
gonna
at that
happen.
point, you're setting. I feel like you're setting your entire franchise on a 33, 32 year
Yeah,
old, something like
right.
that.
But
And
if
that's
we
going back.
If we ride with LaVine next year with no DeMar, we're going backwards as far as
We're
performance.
going backwards now, and we have them both.
He's played better without him. He's played. If you look
He has.
back before this, he has played better without DeMar. I think it can be possible that
but-
maybe he's taking a step back out of not having as much confidence because
But
DeMar's
DeMar's
there.
so good. How do you let him walk? If anyone
No.
deserves to get paid, it's him.
Yeah, I agree.
His mid-range game, I will agree, will probably be a lot better than whatever Zach LaVine's trying to get done, right? It'll probably age better, right? But he's got a lot less time in the league left.
He
than
does.
Zach LaVine.
He does, which may help the Bulls because he might
Yeah.
not want to sign with us. I might want to go ring chase.
Yeah. Exactly. Or you could
So
say the same thing for DeMar and Zach. Really, if Zach would be a
Zach
good
is so cute.
signing for like someone who's like, I want to win. We're about
I mean, hey,
one
hey,
player
if the
away from
Mavericks,
winning.
the Mavericks who were rumored to be inquiring about him, if they call the Bulls trying to get him, send his ass.
True. I
Send
mean,
his
yeah.
ass.
Why not? I mean, I don't know who they have or if they even have anybody worth Zach, but why not? Why not? So for you guys in the comments, right now we got Steve saying we just seen the play. It actually didn't look bad, but it's as we'll know, all it takes brain impact hard enough to have it slam to the skull. Hopefully he makes it through. Legendary. So DeMar Hamlin did get a pretty bad helmet to helmet hit, and that's why they're suspending Monday Night Football between the Bills and the Bengals right now. And then we got Jinja in the chat. You guys see the DeMar Hamlin injury. Did CPR for over 9 minutes before taking him away. He has a pulse, but isn't breathing on his own. Prayers up. Prayers up to DeMar Hamlin. I didn't know that. That's insane, dude. 9 minutes of CPR. That is insane. Well, that again, it seems to be Jinja's here in the chat again. It seems to be a heart injury. It was his chest. Oh, okay. So it didn't look to be helmet to helmet. I guess it was more. I guess the helmet hit the chest a little bit more. But yep, so far in a suspended game on Monday Night Football. We will leave C-Red segment there as it got a little contentious.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they just continue the game tomorrow.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I
mean, we've had a couple games pushed to Tuesday night before.
Yeah, and this
was just 1 year for COVID.
All right, yeah, and this is pretty serious. The fuck?
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, even if he's straight, which God, hopefully he does.
Yeah,
prayers to God. God willing, he is straight. It's like, do you even want to continue tonight, or just hey, let's just resume the game tomorrow? We're all here.
Yeah.
Let's play tomorrow.
Yeah, we will see what happens. But so far in the hospital, and from what Jen just said, it seemed to be more of a chest heart injury there. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for giving us the updates. We will update you with anything else before we end the show. If we see anything, let us end now.
Speaking of C-Red, though, the Bulls, they're only up 3 now with a minute 40 left. Pretty scary.
Okay, so it's getting pretty close there.
Bro, they were up like almost 12 one time.
They were up by like 14 at one point.
That's
they're playing better, guys.
But if you look at the last game against the Cavaliers, it was the complete opposite, and they came right back to it. So don't give me that.
That's true.
And Jose hasn't said nothing, but we did beat his Giannis team.
We did.
Giannis.
It's gonna happen.
His Giannis.
But it was exactly that last game. They were down by like 10. They came back and made it. They lost by 1. Like, come on,
Jose. Would you mind if the Bulls trade Zach to the Bucks to go play with your boy?
Oh, I would love that.
Oh my God. All right. Well, we'll leave the C-Red segment there with Zach going to the Bucks to play with Giannis. Let's move on to our final segment, 4 stars of the week. Again, brought to you by Star 6 Media. Again, go down. You see the ticker down there. Check us out on everything we've got as far as socials and shows. But 4 stars of the week, we go around the room, and there's 4 of us this time, so we don't have to wait on any text or anything. But we're going to basically say, hey, over the last 2 weeks, since there was no episode last week, over the last 2 weeks, we pick a Chicago athlete, fan base, coach, whatever, Chicago-based, and we give them their props for the last week, or in this case, 2 weeks. So does anybody want to go first? Or I'll go first.
I can go first. That's fine. I'll go first. 4 stars of the week. Eric's gonna be mad, but I don't care. You gotta give it to Zach LaVine because he has been playing better in this stretch of games. Give it to Zach. Give it to my boy Zach LaVine. 43 points the other night.
Oh no!
I'm giving it to Zach LaVine. Give him a star.
Oh no! First one goes to Zach. Look at Eric. Eric's like, I quit.
I'm doing this on purpose to get Eric mad. We're giving Zach LaVine a star for finally showing up and playing like the $200 million man he's supposed to be playing like in these last couple. Okay, look, it only takes 1 to turn it around. If you want to turn a season around, if you want to turn a career around, you start with 1 game. I believe he did that. His team is playing better, and I think it's because of my boy Zach LaVine.
He had
Right
43 points. He had
Yeah,
43
your boy
points.
just missed a step back three.
Right now he has 24. I mean, DeMar DeRozan has 42 points right now, but Zach's also doing his thing with 24 points. So come on.
With that being said, my star goes to DeMar DeRozan, who's
Let's go.
doubling
DeMar.
Zach LaVine's points tonight. Usually does every night.
Right.
That's
Vooch! That's my star. Give my star to Vooch.
no, it's too late. It's too late, bro. Vooch does becoming a Vooch comes up more clutch than Zach does.
He does.
That's the
Yeah, I
problem.
probably
And
would agree with that.
And that's a problem. That's a $200 million problem.
I'm taking my star back from Zach. I'm giving it to Vooch just for the 3 alone.
Nah, my
Just for that 3 alone.
My star has to go to DeMar, especially because I'll be honest, when we signed him, I never considered him like a superstar in the league, but he's literally been the only superstar for the Bulls. Like the league knows DeMar's that dude. The league knows DeMar is that dude here in Chicago. It's not LaVine. It's not Vooch. I mean, Vooch and DeMar play better than LaVine and Vooch, but it starts with DeMar. And like I told you, I know his age is up there, but I do think the man deserves to get paid this offseason. I think the only way he don't come back is if he wants to ring chase. If he doesn't realistically, I got a better shot at ring somewhere else, which would be true. Which would definitely
probably.
be true. But if he wants
to
to say, pay the man, bro. He's literally he's been the most consistent guy. And it's a joke, but not really a joke that he damn near doubles LaVine's points every night.
All right, so far we got Zach and DeMar, 2 out of the 4 stars. Vooch and DeMar.
I give it to Vooch.
Eric, who do you got for the 3rd star of the
Go
week?
ahead, Rick. Go ahead.
You gonna let me go? All right. You want to end it? I love it. I'm gonna give my star of the week to Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet deserves the 3rd star of the week this week. So not only did he catch the only touchdown the Bears scored on Sunday against the Lions, but he was recently awarded the 2022 Jeff Dickerson Good Guy Award by the Chicago chapter of the Pro Football Writers of America.
Rest in peace, JD.
Yeah, for real. R.I.P. Jeff Dickerson he had passed away due to cancer about a year ago. Yep. The honor is given annually to a Bears player who best helps the media to do its job. And again, with the touchdown and with this award, he also said during his acceptance is it's hard, with the Bears losing and whatnot, it's hard to kind of come up to the media and talk about that stuff. So he's like, I'm just glad I was able to get it.
Every single time, Rick, can I just say real quick, working for the Bears, the radio, he's always their go-to guy because he's literally the only willing one who's literally comes up after a loss. Like you said it, he's it's so hard to talk about a loss, but Cole Kmet is so consistent with it, and they say it himself. He has a future in media because his voice, the way he talks, the way he expresses himself is very, very, very top notch. But credit to him because again, it is hard after a loss to come up.
Oh, absolutely.
But as far as the radio goes, he's up there every single time talking to Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer. So credit to him for sure.
Yeah, credit to Cole Kmet. He's going to be my 3rd star of the week. Eric, let's end it. You wanted to end it. You wanted to give the 4th star of the week. Who you got?
His pick is easy.
Who's my pick?
It's Justin Fields.
Hell no, not even close. Not even close. There's no way near. I'm picking anybody from the Chicago professional teams right now, or at least the ones that we'd like to talk about the most.
He's gonna pick some boring
big league Chicago. You can't pick anybody else other than Chicago players.
Big leagues are not, bro.
Oh, okay. In that case,
this isn't big league international.
I'm not. Who says I was going international? Again, I said it's not the sports that we normally talk about. Those were my words.
Here we go.
The 4th star of the week is congratulating Mallory Pugh and Dansby Swansby on their wedding sinse we didn't have one a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
He's
the real MVP for bringing Dansby Swansby here. You know what I mean?
Good job. Those are I got the 2 for 1. How about that? Both of them because she plays for the Chicago Red Stars.
Yep.
Bastards.
Facts. And Dansby Swanson for their wedding. That's Eric's 4 star of the week. That's a good one. I like that. You ended on a wholesome note. I love it. I love it. And
Save the best for last.
I love your board in the back. Need the offseason start now. For sure. Absolutely 100%. But all right. That is all we got from Big League Chicago. We got Tony Football with a WWE belt. You got Johnny Parlay betting all day. You got Eric thanking the wedding of Mallory Pugh and Dansby Swanson. But from us here at Big League Chicago, thank you for joining us. Again, we're brought to you by Star 6 Media. go and follow us at Star Six Media on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. And we're on Twitter now as well at _Star Six Media. So go follow us on all of our socials. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, like and share. If we're bringing you that entertainment, and I think with Tony Football and Eric and John and all of us arguing, I think that's great entertainment right there.
It was a good show.
Yeah, it was a great show. I enjoyed it. So watch and also listen to the other shows we have on, which is EAFP, where Eric goes all over all the soccer, goes international on that podcast. We're talking about football. Yeah. Check out Only Football that is coming up after this. So stay tuned for Only Football's Monday episode. JCA Sports, which is on Wednesdays. We mentioned it earlier, talking all major league sports across the U.S. 3 Up, 3 Down, talking baseball, anything MLB. Sports Strip Live goes live on Tuesdays, right, Jose? Yep. Yep. Any MMA, boxing, and WWE wrestling right there. And you have Slot Shot NHL podcast comes out on Fridays with Ross, Alex, and Jack. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, boys, you guys got anything else before we get out of here?
That's it.
Big game for my Arsenal Gunners tomorrow as the first versus third. It should be a good one. It's going to be a highly contested one. I can tell you that one. I'm actually pretty nervous about that.
There you go.
Who they play?
Newcastle.
All right, let's go Newcastle.
I mean, it's going to be a tough one, man. I could tell you that one. I'm not as confident as I was the past couple of weeks, but these next matchups, they got Newcastle tomorrow, then they got the Northland Derby on the day of my birthday, and then the week after that, they got Man City. So 3 tough games for my Gunners.
There you go. Eric's trying to scratch that World Cup itch right there. He's just
actually
anything football right now, right? I love it.
Who's about to cap a winner for now? Just watch. Free throws from Kobe White, it's over with.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're still keeping up the Bulls game.
Suck it.
They got enough to hit a 3 and tie it.
I just want to end it with, again, prayers up to DeMar Hamlin. Collapsed on the field again in this Monday night football game. Game is suspended until further notice, but prayers up to him, and hopefully everything's okay. Other than that, boys, see you next week. See ya.
See ya.